TJ Dillashaw, Khamzat Chimaev would run through Alex Pereira at light heavyweight. Dillashaw does not like Pereira's chances against fellow UFC champion Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev won the UFC middleweight belt after starting his career at welterweight, and he's already calling for another move in weight to challenge Alex Pereira at 205 pounds. And TJ Dillashaw would advise Pereira to stay away from the undefeated star. The former UFC bantamweight champion said on a recent episode of Jackson podcast that he hoped the promotion would not book that Pereira vs. Chimaev superfight for the upcoming White House event in June, and that's because it would not end up well for the Brazilian striker. Khamzat would run through Alex Pereira, Dillashaw said. Run through. Stylistically, he runs through Alex Pereira. He can't defend his takedowns. He can try. Chimaev, 15-0. Won 4 straight since leaving the welterweight division in 2022, beating Kevin Holland, Kamaru Usman, Robert Whittaker and Dricus du Plessis. The UFC has yet to announce who will be the first to challenge him at 185 pounds. Pereira, 13-3, is a former 2-division kickboxing champion who won the UFC middleweight title and then claimed the 205-pound championship, knocking out 4 ex-UFC champions in Magomed Ankalaev, Yuri Prochaska, Jamal Hill, and Israel Adesanya throughout his career. Pereira is currently waiting to see if his next move will be a defense of the light heavyweight throne or a move to heavyweight. TJ Dillashaw says Khamzat Chimaev would run through Alex Pereira in a light heavyweight matchup. Former UFC bantamweight champion TJ Dillashaw recently shared a bold prediction about a potential fight between Khamzat Chimaev and Alex Pereira, suggesting the undefeated middleweight star would dominate Pereira if they met at light heavyweight. Speaking on the Jackson podcast, Dillashaw weighed in on one of MMA's most talked about hypothetical bouts, Chimaev vs. Pereira. Dillashaw was clear about his view. Stylistically, he believes Chimaev's wrestling and grappling would overwhelm Pereira's striking-focused game. Khamzat would run through Alex Pereira, Dillashaw said, adding that Pereira can try to defend but lacks the tools to keep Chimaev off him. Why Dillashaw thinks Chimaev has the edge. Dillashaw's prediction stems from Chimaev's relentless grappling style. The Chechen standout has built his reputation on heavy pressure, dominant takedowns, and strong top control, attributes Dillashaw believes could neutralize Pereira's striking and fight-finishing power. Chimaev has shown this style effectively during his run up the UFC ranks, having recently moved up from welterweight to win the middleweight title with decisive wins over fighters like Kevin Holland, Kamaru Usman, Robert Whittaker, and Dricus du Plessis. Pereira, on the other hand, is one of the most feared strikers in the sport. A former 2-division kickboxing world champion, he has used his power and technique to capture both the middleweight and light heavyweight UFC titles, including a first-round TKO win over Magomed Ankalaev to regain the light heavyweight belt. Potential matchup drama beyond Dillashaw's take. While Dillashaw's view favors Chimaev, other voices in MMA offer contrasting opinions. For example, former middleweight title challenger Dricus du Plessis recently said he doesn't believe Chimaev would beat Pereira, suggesting the Brazilian's size and experience at light heavyweight could pose a problem. Meanwhile, Pereira himself has responded to Chimaev's calls for a fight by suggesting alternative formats like grappling matches, underscoring the lingering uncertainty about if, or how, the matchup might occur. Chimaev continues to campaign for a light heavyweight showdown, and discussions about moving up in weight have sparked plenty of debate among fighters and fans alike. Until the UFC makes an official booking, however, the matchup remains speculative, with opinions like Dillashaw's fueling the conversation.